Level 1, the hang-around. It starts with everyone staring at you. The bar smells like gasoline, leather, and spilled whiskey. A dozen bikes sit outside, chrome glinting under a flickering streetlight. Inside, every man at the table already knows who you are. You're the only one who doesn't know where you stand. A thick hand slides a beer across the table. No one says welcome. They just watch. You understand the rule immediately. Talk less than everyone else. You're a hang-around now. That's the word they use. Not a member. Not even close. Just someone orbiting the club. A satellite. Your job isn't complicated. You show up when called. You stay late when everyone leaves. You carry things nobody wants to carry. Boxes, tools, sometimes envelopes. You don't ask what's inside. The first time someone hands you a sealed manila envelope, it feels heavier than paper should feel. Drop it at the motel. The sergeant at arms says no explanation. You drive 30 miles at midnight and leave it under a door marked room 214. Nobody thanks you, but the next week they call you again. That's the currency here. Not money, availability. You learn the invisible rules fast. Never sit at the main table. Never speak during club talk. Never touch another man's bike. You clean up broken bottles after fights. You watch deals happen without hearing the words. You learn faces, prospects, members, officers. Each patch means something. And the biggest patch of all, the winged skull on the back of their jackets, feels like something alive. You want that patch. You don't say. But everyone knows. That's why you're he. 3 months in, a fight breaks out in the parking lot. A guy from another club pulls a knife. You move before thinking. You grab his wrist, slam him into a truck door, hold him until the others take over. Blood runs down your sleeve. Nobody congratulates you, but when you walk back inside, someone finally says your name. That's when you realize something. You're not invisible anymore. And that's the first step deep. Level 2, the prospect. The cut they hand you is missing something. The big patch, instead, the back says prospect in thick white letters. It feels heavier than armor. Now everything is a test. Prospects don't sit. Prospects stand. You refill beers before glasses are empty. You memorize every bike in the lot. You keep spare parts in your truck at all times. If a member breaks down at 2:47 a.m., your phone rings. You answer on the first vibration. The club runs on hierarchy. President, vice president, sergeant at arms, treasurer, secretary. Then members. Then prospects. Then you. You think the tests will be dramatic. They aren't. They're boring, painfully boring. You drive 6 hours to pick up a muffler. You guard the door during meetings you're not allowed to hear. You scrub oil stains from the clubhouse floor until your knuckles crack. They're not testing strength. They're testing patience. But sometimes the tests change. One night the sergeant at arms calls you outside. He points at a rival club's bar across the highway. You see that place. You nod. Windows need replacing. That's it. No speech, no instructions, just a baseball bat in your hands. You walk across the road alone. Glass explodes under the first swing. By the 4th window, your heart stops racing. By the 7th, it feels normal. When you come back, nobody applauds. But someone slides a stack of cash across the table. $1,200. You're cut for the week. You stare at it. Money like that used to take a month of work. Now it's just Tuesday. Something shifts in your head. The rules of the outside world start fading. The club becomes the only structure that matters. Family events get skipped. Old friends stop calling. Your life compresses into the roar of engines and the smell of gasoline. 1 year passes. Then the president calls a vote. You're not in the room, but you hear the cheers through the door. As suddenly someone tells you to step inside. Level 3, the patched member. The patch touches your shoulders like a crown. The Hells Angels rocker sits across your back now. Red and white, permanent. You're not orbiting the club anymore. You are the club. The first thing they teach you is protection. Not physical protection, legal protection. You don't own anything now. Your bike belongs to a cousin. Your truck belongs to an LLC in Nevada. Your bank account rarely holds more than $2,000. Money moves through, not names. Your first real job arrives 2 weeks later. A warehouse near the docks. Inside are wooden crates stamped with machine parts. They're not machine parts. You know that before the lid opens. Inside are vacuum-sealed bricks wrapped in brown tape. You count 25 of them, each brick worth about $28,000 wholesale. You load them into saddlebags and hidden compartments. By morning, the crates are empty. By afternoon, the product is spread across 3 counties. Your share for the week is $9,000. Cash, no taxes, no paperwork, just a thick envelope handed across a sticky bar table. You tell yourself something important. You're not a criminal. You're part of a system. The club protects neighborhoods. The club maintains order. Outsiders call it a gang. Inside, it feels like a government, with its own laws and punishments. The first time you witness one, it happens in silence. A member skimmed money, $3,500 missing from a shipment. Nobody calls the police. Instead, the sergeant-at-arms locks the clubhouse door. The beating lasts 9 minutes. When it's over, the man apologizes, then pays the missing money. Nobody talks about it again. You realize something that night. Respect here isn't given, it's enforced, and now you're one of the enforcers. Level 4, the operator. By your 4th year, your phone never stops vibrating. You manage routes now, not errands. 3 cities, 6 distributors, a dozen prospects running deliveries. Every Thursday you sit with a notebook and map the flow. Product arrives Sunday, money returns Wednesday, a clean cycle. If everything works, the chapter clears about $220,000 a month. Your personal cut averages $25,000. You still live in the same small house, but the garage holds 3 bikes now, each worth more than the house itself. Power in the club isn't loud. It's quiet logistics. Who moves product, who collects debts, who talks to other chapters. You learn to negotiate territory lines over whiskey. Sometimes those conversations fail. One weekend a rival club starts pushing into your city. They're sloppy, selling cheap, undercutting prices. The president sends you and 2 others to talk. The meeting happens in an empty truck stop parking lot at 1:12 a.m. Engines idling. No smiles. They refuse to back down. 2 weeks later their main dealer disappears. Nobody connects the dots. But the price war ends. That's when the psychological shift becomes permanent. You stop thinking about consequences. You start thinking about stability. Violence becomes a tool, like a wrench, necessary sometimes, but never emotional. Your name carries weight now. Prospects stand when you walk it. You remember when that used to be you. It feels like a different life. But there's another step above operator, and the chair is about to open. Level 5, the sergeant-at-arms. Authority changes the way people look at you. When the vote passes, the room goes quiet. The president nods once. You're sergeant now. Your job is simple in theory. Maintain order. In practice, that means managing fear. You control discipline. Prospects answer to you. Members respect you. Rivals watch you carefully. Your phone fills with problems. A dealer shorted $18,000. A prospect mouthed off to a member. A shipment got seized outside Bakersfield. Every problem has to end cleanly. Sometimes clean means calm conversation. Other times it means showing up with 5 bikes and letting silence do the work. You develop a reputation for patience and precision. You don't yell, you don't threaten, you just explain the math. If someone owes the club $12,000, they pay, or something equivalent happens. The numbers always balance, but the position costs something. Sleep becomes shallow. Every knock on the door could be police. Every unfamiliar car might be surveillance. You notice cameras where others see streetlights. You start memorizing license plates. Your life splits in 2. Daytime version, nighttime version. Daytime you buy groceries and nod politely at neighbors. Nighttime you coordinate enforcement runs across county lines. The money climbs. Your annual take passes $400,000. But wealth feels abstract now. Respect is the real currency. And respect brings responsibility. Soon the chapter needs someone high. Someone who can negotiate with other cities. Someone who can command the room. They start looking at you. Level 6, the vice president. Leadership means fewer punches and more decisions. You sit beside the president now. Same long table, same smoke-filled room. But the conversations change. Now you talk about strategy, expanding into 2 new cities, partnering with a chapter 3 states away, managing shipments that cross international borders. Numbers grow larger. Shipments reach $2 million wholesale. You oversee distribution chains stretching hundreds of miles. Most days feel like running a corporation, except the board meetings involve pistols on the table. Your biggest skill becomes diplomacy. Clubs fight over territory constantly. A single insult can trigger a war. You spend long nights on the phone smoothing things over. Sometimes you succeed. Sometimes people die. The weight starts accumulating. Every decision ripples outward. A choice made at 11 p.m. in a clubhouse might shape events 3 states away. You realize something unsettling. You're not reacting anymore. You're designing outcomes. Power becomes abstract. You rarely touch product, rarely see money physically, but thousands of dollars move because you say yes or no. Your identity shifts again. You're less biker now. more architect, and the top seat in the room is getting older. Everyone sees it, including you. Level 7, the president. The patch feels different when you wear the title, president. Not every eye in the room belongs to you. You decide when meetings start. You decide when they end. You decide which problems matter, and which disappear quietly. The chapter runs like a machine. 120 members across multiple cities. Weekly revenue sometimes reaches $300,000. But the job isn't wealth, it's balance. You keep the club alive between three constant threats: rival clubs, law enforcement, internal ego. One wrong move can collapse everything. You spend hours studying people: who's ambitious, who's unstable, who's loyal. Sometimes you remove someone before they become a problem. Quietly, transfers to another chapter or retirement. The club survives because it adapts. You travel constantly now. Meetings in different states. Conferences where hundreds of past members gather under one roof. The scale is enormous. An ecosystem larger than any one city. And you're part of its leadership. But something unexpected happens at the top. Your world shrinks. You trust fewer people. Conversations become guarded. Even friends measure their words around you. Respect creates distance. And distance creates silence. You start missing the old days, when your biggest problem was fixing a bike at midnight. But you can't go back. Presidents don't step down easily. They age into legend, or disappear. Level 8, the legend. Time slows down here. You don't ride every day anymore. Your knees ache when the weather shifts. But when you enter a room, conversations stop. You've outlasted most of your generation. Some are dead, some are in prison. Others vanished into quiet retirements. You remain. Your phone rings less often now. Problems solve themselves before reaching you. You exist above the daily noise. A living symbol. Stories circulate about things you did 20 years ago. Half of them aren't true, but nobody questions them. Power at this level is almost invisible. You rarely give orders. You give opinions, and the room adjusts around them. The strange part is how quiet life becomes. No more adrenaline. No more fights in parking lots. Just memory, and the long echo of decisions that shaped lives. You sit outside the clubhouse sometimes and watch younger members ride in. Their engines roar the same way yours did decades ago. They laugh louder, move faster. They believe the future belongs to them. You know better. The club isn't about individuals. It's about continuity. A machine that keeps running. And one night, while the sun sinks behind the bikes in the parking lot, you see something familiar. A young guy standing awkwardly near the door, hands in his pockets, trying not to stare, trying to look like he belongs. Nobody's talking to him yet. He's waiting, watching, learning the rules. You recognize the look immediately. He's a hang-around. Level 1. Somewhere inside his head, he thinks he understands what this life means. He doesn't, but he will, soon enough.